Bienvenue and welcome to Le Français avec KJ. I'm KJ, your teacher and host, and today we're going to be talking about the past. It's that time, everyone, and there's just one thing before we get started. There are two ways to talk about the past in French. One way is to talk about the things that we used to do and the way that we were. And the other way is to talk about things that we have accomplished or completed. Today we're going to focus on completed actions. Now, the first thing we have to do is figure out how to form the Passé Composé, which is a composed verb, which means that it has two parts. The first part requires an auxiliary, and that will be avoir. So here I've conjugated avoir, j'ai, tu as, il a, on a, nous avons, vous avez, il, elle, on. Now, here's the thing. That's just the first part of the Passé Composé. The second part is a past participle. And the way that we make that is we take the ER off of ER verbs and add an accented E to make parler. Then we take the RE off of RE verbs and we add U to make vendu. Then we take the IR off of IR verbs and we add I to make fini. Alright, so let's look at some examples. In the present tense, I would say je mange, I eat. But in the passé composé, I would say j'ai mangé. Notice, right here I have a conjugation of avoir. And here I've taken the ER off of manger and I've added an accented E. Let's try another one. Il dort in the present tense. He sleeps. In the passé composé, elle a dormi. She slept. Elle a dormi. Okay, let's try it one more time. Il attend. In the present tense, he waits. Il a attendu. In the passé composé, he waited. Il a attendu. Alright, but there's just one more thing. There's the irregular verbs. And we need to know how to make past participles out of these irregular verbs. So here I have a list. There's a table. You can pause this video and write them down. It's a rather extensive list. And the reason for that is that there are a lot of irregular verbs. But the cool part about this is that the irregular verbs are generally irregular all the time. So it's worth your time to write them down. Honestly, you just have to memorize the irregular verbs because there really isn't much rhyme or reason as to why they do the irregular things that they do. So this is the end of the list. Note that there are many verbs here. Make sure you know what each one of them mean. And yes, we're going to use them so you'll get them in context, but definitely jot them down. Right, so now it's your turn. With the notes that you have just taken, let's look at elles vont sa voiture. This is the present tense. Nous faisons du ski. Ils ont tort. And vous avez raison. Okay, take a look at these sentences and see if you can make them. You can write them in the past. You can pause this video. Alright, so let's have a look. Elle a vendu sa voiture. So we will go from she sells her car to she sold her car. Nous faisons du ski becomes nous avons fait du ski. We went skiing, or we did some skiing, or we skied, I guess in English. Ils ont tort, they're mistaken, or they're wrong. Ils ont eu tort, they were wrong. Vous avez raison, you are right. Vous avez eu raison, you were right. Okay, that is a lot to learn and take in one episode. So what I'm going to say is let's stop here. The next the best next step is to, of course, try some exercises. I'm going to leave a link to conjugamos.com, which I really recommend as a good place to practice the verbs. Just look in their library for verbs, look for the Passé Composé with avoir, and give it a go. All right, have a wonderful day, and if you learned something during this video, or you found it at all useful, please click like and subscribe. Until the next time, a bientôt.